Maybe you have seen some of this on social media, these videos, or the crowds themselves. A large turnout trying to send a message, and we've seen plenty of it all afternoon. Let's get right now live to our Ken Molestina. He is there in West Dallas, there on the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, talking to some of those who have organized that particular march. Ken?
Yeah, Steve, and you were talking about the chant of Si Se Puede, yes we can, something we have heard a lot out here today. This is a demonstration or protest that began at 3 o'clock, and I want you to have a look over my shoulder so you can see what's left of it here. Several hundred people out here off of Singleton and Beckley. This is on the west side of the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge. Now, I can tell you that everything here has been very peaceful so far, but I will tell you that Dallas PD right now keeping a real close eye on this crowd. They were asking them to stay off the street, to stay on the sidewalks in the median, but as you can see, they have taken the street now, and they are marching down in a westerly direction on Singleton, down towards the Trinity Groves area. But again, this is something that at its peak, we estimated north of 1,000 people showed up to this. So let's show you some video of what it looked like earlier here today. Again, this is a protest, a demonstration that was organized earlier this week. It was organized by a couple of 16-year-olds on social media. You're going to hear from one of them in just a little bit. But again, this call for action, this call for protesters and demonstrators to show up is something that gained a lot of speed in the past couple of days here. And of course, it all started here at 3 o'clock on this Saturday over here on the west side of the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge. It is an area that is known to many immigrant families, to families who like to come out here on the weekends and spend some time, some downtime, and enjoy some leisure out here. So that's why they picked this spot. I want you to hear what one of the organizers had to say. Have a listen.
To be honest, we didn't expect that we were going to get this much attention on social media. It started with a small idea on TikTok, and it became something really big. Don't be afraid. If you can't speak up for yourself, there is someone out there that will. Try not to be rude or like mean. You know someone that's probably undocumented that works at a store. It could be anyone. It could be your neighbor, or it could be someone in your neighborhood. Just don't have a cruel heart, man. We're all human, and we just came here for the American dream.
All right, back out live. I want to give you another look down the street from what we can see here. This is what I was telling you about, Steve, earlier. These are the crowds that were being asked to stay to the sidewalks and to the median, not to actually cross onto the street. DPD has had a presence here throughout the entire afternoon, and they were asking them to stay to the sidewalks and to the medians. Obviously, that is not the case right now. You can see that they have taken to the streets down on Singleton, just west of Beckley over here near the restaurants here on Trinity Groves on the west side of the bridge. Not sure how much longer DPD is going to allow them to do this, but if we swing over to my left here a little bit, you can see some more people that are walking down in that direction. I'd estimate, Steve, this is going to be about maybe 200 or 300 people that we're talking about that are on the streets right now. So at this point, I'm not sure if DPD's plan is to sort of let them do what they're doing for a little while longer, let the crowds disperse on their own. The temperatures are dropping out here, so there is an expectation that perhaps people are just going to get cold and want to go home. But again, that is the situation out here. These folks have taken to the streets. Otherwise, it has been a rather peaceful demonstration and protest all throughout the afternoon. But clearly, Steve, we're keeping a close eye on all of this right now to see just how much longer police are going to allow them to take the streets before they sort of escalate this into their next phase of enforcement. Because again, the message out here was protest, do what you got to do, demonstrate if you have to, but you have to stay off the streets and things have to remain peaceful. So we're keeping a real close eye on this right now. Guys, back to you.
Just to give folks a little bit of bearing there where you are, that essentially where that large crowd is, Ken, right in front of Trinity Groves, heading to the west on Singleton there into that residential area. I know you know this has been the last couple of hours, and what I think a lot of folks understand, we're talking large groups of families. I know there's a lot of young people out there, but I believe based on what I've seen here from the footage, a lot of families out there tonight.
Yeah, Steve, there have been a lot of families that have been out here, entire families that have shown up. This is a topic that affects many immigrant families that live in this side of town. So naturally, this was an obvious sort of an event for them to participate in. But again, you know, the crowds at its peak, north of 1,000 people. Right now, we're down to a few hundred. And I think the hope here is that they start clearing out again soon. If we can we swing over here, because it looks like we have a couple of Dallas police units that are now approaching from the west side. We saw those crowds walking and marching down, but it looks like the police, what they're doing now is sort of closing in that gap, almost as to force them off the road or not allow them to walk back up the way that that they were. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. And again, so sorry about that. We have somebody here who was trying to interrupt our live report here. But anyway, Steve, that's the situation out here. From what I can tell, the majority of the crowd does seem to be dispersing. They seem to be going home. Again, the temperatures are dropping, so I don't anticipate that people are going to stay out here that much longer, and especially with the police now sort of certainly starting to increase their enforcement of the crowds and the crowd control out here, Steve.
Absolutely. Ken Molestina there at the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge as it heads west into West Dallas with that street protest, that street march there on the Dallas side. But we are also watching a similar protest happening in Fort Worth as we speak. A group currently marching down. You can see these images here. This is in the downtown area of Fort Worth. It started on 7th Street, but as you can see, these are live images from the number of people who have gathered there in Fort Worth. Of course, we will continue to follow both of these marches as they continue down these boulevards, these main thoroughfares in both parts of the cities. Our latest, of course, on our website, cbsnewstexas.com, and also a complete update for you coming up at 10 o'clock.